Well, hey y'all, and welcome to Shade and the City. It is your girl Treese here, and we are here to get into none other than Beyond the Gates. This is season one, episode 51. Forgive me in advance if this might be very quick and to the point. Um, yeah, y'all, as I told y'all, I've got a busy work week and it's all before I go on vacation. It's just a lot going on this week. So, but we if y'all want to dig deeper, we can get into it Thursday. Y'all make sure the link is in the description box and y'all join the membership for the live. But anyway, y'all, it was a good episode. If I had to rate it, I'm gonna give it maybe an 8. But y'all let me know what you think. And I would have to say, I'm not gonna sing it this time, but I would have to give it it's giving I'm gonna my theme song for this is Gotta Find My Way Back by Jaheim. That's what it's giving. But y'all let me know what you think. So if you haven't already, please make sure that you guys hit that like button and make sure that you guys are subscribed if you haven't already. And let's keep growing and glowing, Shade Squad, because we just out here doing big things. Okay, we doing numbers over here. But no, again, we appreciate the love and support over here. It's attitude of gratitude, and so thank you guys. And yeah, why don't we just go ahead and get into it and let's get shady. All right, so we kick off this episode, and we know Martin is having one of his night terrors, and all we see is flashing lights. And then, of course, he wakes up in a sweat. And like I said, I think one of you guys mentioned that y'all think it has something to do with like a car accident, or maybe he ran over somebody or something like that. But I'm just tired of them showing us that same little visual and we ain't getting no more clues. I'm tired of seeing it. I'm gonna just be honest, okay? Then we jump over to Nicole's house and she's struggling to even get dressed or go out because she doesn't want to face anybody. She lets Danny know that she's canceled all her patient appointments, and Danny understands and shares her experience of how she went through it. Um, and she said, "But I just broke all bills." You know what I'm saying? But she tells her, "Look, but you learn from my mistakes and don't let Ted dim your light." And so Nicole says, "Look, as a therapist, I know that what I'm going through is perfectly normal, and I need time to grieve the loss of my marriage." And then he said, "Well, that's all good and stuff, but while you grieving, um, let me tell you, give you a chance to relish in a little bit." So Danny lets her know about how her and Anita went and gave Ted and Eva the business. And so Nicole was like, "I don't want you running offense for me, girl. Like, I appreciate it." Um, and she's like, "Right now, I don't want to think about Ted or Eva." So Danny tells her, "Well, you know what? I need you to get out." And she reminds her that what we Dupree women do not do, we don't hide and we don't quit. So she tries to lift Nicole's spirits and finally convinces her to get dressed so they can get out the house. All right. Now, then we jump over to the country club, and Eva has met Ted for breakfast looking like she stole another outfit out of Cat's closet, a tacky outfit out of Cat's closet. So she suggests that, you know, why don't we just have dinner at the hotel? Because I just feel like we'll be more welcome there. And literally, the first thing that came to mind, well, when you went over to Uptown right after all of this happened and sat up there with Tomas, why didn't you go to hotel? I would like to know. Ted says, "No, you know what? I pay a membership and I ain't letting nobody run me off." And so he said he's done hiding and he deserves to be there. And tell her, "And so do you, because you my daughter, damn it." So everybody at the country club takes notice of Ted and Eva as they walk in. And as they sit down, Eva noticed some weird lady, which Ted lets her know this crazy woman that's staring from across the room is Anastasia or something like that. But apparently she's the town gossip. So I thought that was Shanice. Who knew? Okay. Or Mona. No shade to Mona though, because again, Mona got some points back last episode. Got a lot of points back last episode. So Ted tells her, look, don't worry about it, just ignore it, but says, you know what, I'm glad that you're there because I want everybody in Fairmont Crest seeing us together as father and daughter. He has a plan to help her launch the next part of her life. So Leslie walks into Offrey Jeans and she sees Jan. And, and so she's like, girl, let me buy you breakfast. But Jan said, I don't want nothing to do with you. And then I don't know if y'all noticed the weird YT man in the background ear hustling. Who is he? Literally my notes, every time they pivoted to him in the camera shot, it says, who is the YT man? Ear hustling. But anyway, so Jan tells Leslie that she heard what she did. And so Leslie tells her that she understands why Mona is upset, but because she's all of the Dupree's, but I don't understand why you giving me your ex to kiss. And Jan makes it clear everything has changed because who we thought you were, you are not. And it was all a lie, in the words of Carly Red. Okay. And so Leslie tells her that their friendship was real. And Jan goes on about how she used her and Mona to get dirt on the Dupree's and brings up her lying, using, and manipulating Eva like she did. And she says she can't imagine how Ashley would have turned out being raised with someone with her twisted values. I said, not Jan got the reads too. What is going on at Fairmont? I guess because it's a Merlin. I gotta give people their things. So Leslie tells Jan that Mona is biased because Ted and Nicole sign her paychecks, and then she tries to go on this whole looking for a single mom sympathy and talks about how Ted dumped her when he found out she was pregnant. And mind you, the creepy YT man is still in back ear hustling. Okay. And so Jan tells her, well, you know what? I never lied to my child about her father, and I would never include her in some revenge ploy. And so she tells Leslie that, you don't act out of love, but you operate out of hate. Jan, we deserve to know your name now. Jan, you better show up. Okay. And then respectfully tells her, find somewhere else to sit. Because it ain't gonna be with me. You can't sit with us, okay? Or me. Then we move over to Vernon, who happens to walk in Offrey Jeans as well, and meets with Martin. Mind you, the creepy YT man notices, okay? So Martin lets him know that lets his grandfather know that he's still having these nightmares and they're becoming worse. And he tells him he thinks his subconscious is warning him that something's coming. And because of that, he's decided that he's not going to do this presidential campaign. And so Vernon asked him if the nightmares are what made him change his mind. And Martin actually says it was a situation with his parents' marriage falling apart. He's like, with Nicole, I was with my mom the night before, and I would hate running for office, and it just brings my mother more scrutiny. And then he's also like, with the travel schedule, I would have less time to support her. And he said all of this has made me realize that family really does come first. So, and then he also talks about how after seeing his daddy's secrets blow up, he can't risk that for himself. So Vernon asked Martin, well, what do you see in these visions and these like nightmares? And he says that, he just sees lights in the night and flashes or whatever. But he says the last dream he had, he did hear a voice. I don't think they let us hear that. Y'all correct me if y'all heard something. I didn't hear that then. And he knows his mother would be absolutely devastated if she found out what was going on with him. And so Martin is just hopeful that this decision will alleviate the nightmares, but questions what happens if they're going to get worse. All right. Warning, but I got a little treat for y'all. Now, again, if y'all want to get more into this in the live on Thursday night, members only live, you are more than welcome to. I ain't got it to do. Like I said, I got to get up early in the morning. You're getting 2 sentences for DNA, and that's it. I don't care. Be very honest. Again, we can talk about it at a later date if you care enough to. All right. I'll give you that. All right. Respectfully. Okay. So my notes on them on DNA said Ashley and Derek are super awkward and this living together thing isn't going to work. Jan calls Ashley to warn her to stay away from Leslie and her drama. And we see the random YT man still ear hustling. You're welcome. All right, so let's move on to Vanessa. She's at the country club when she gets a text from Joey saying that who she hopes or he hopes that she thought about him last night. Then she calls Doug and fusses him out because apparently Doug didn't even come home and he wasn't answering his texts or phone calls. And I'm gonna be honest with you, as much as Vanessa cheats, I'm surprised that she doesn't think Doug is cheating. Because they say the one that's always doing it is the one that be real guilty and be the most suspect and asking you all the questions. So it really makes me feel like she should really be like, oh, but I guess she don't care because everybody getting they lick. What's the song? Blatant Truth? Get that lick back. Hey, get that lick back. Oh, get that lick back. They get that lick back. Okay, I'm sorry. So as he promises, he's like, look, I'm gonna be on my way home. Then he runs into Joey. Joey tells him he owes him money, and Doug said, well, I ain't got it. So Joey tells him, well, that's your fault. And look, I clearly made a bad bet on you. And so Doug is like, nah, I swear I'll come up with the money. And Joey tells him, well, you need to go ahead and call Vanessa. And of course, Doug refuses, and Joey volunteers since he has her on speed dial. Now I don't know what type of man, and I would love my male viewers because I know I got a few of y'all, and I love that y'all are tuning into this. But I don't know about y'all. There is no way my man is sitting across from another man. And if he says he's not going to call me, he said, oh, well, don't worry about it. I got her on speed dial. That other man might not be injured. Joey says something else later on that even though he's not hunching Vanessa to our knowledge yet, if I was Doug, if Doug was my dude, oh, Doug would have broke his other hand from fucking Joey up. But what he's not going to do is let that man talk play in his face like that. Am I reaching? Doug really don't give a damn about Vanessa, y'all. So Ted tells Eva that he's contacted a high-end salon for her to work at. And Eva says that she would like to try her hand at being a personal assistant again. And Ted said, that ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. He's like, I feel like, once they find out how you references, you know what I'm saying? And once they find out how you lost your last job, I don't think you're gonna make the cut. And I was like, well, that was a nice way to tell her. And so he explained, he tells her that, the opportunity may come up again, but right now he basically wants her to get to work. So Danny takes Nicole to the country club, and of course they run into Ted and Eva. Ted gets up and tells her, you look great, Nicole. And Vanessa steals Nicole away, and Nicole tells her, look, I know Ted should have a relationship with his daughter, but it hurts to actually see them together. So Vanessa tries to distract her by telling her that Doug didn't come home last night, and Nicole said, it's too soon. Okay. It's just, it's too close to home. Okay. So Vanessa tells her she's worried Doug might be in a bad place emotionally because of his injury. And she feels like, she knows him well enough that he might be doing something self-destructive that he doesn't want her to know about. Meanwhile, Danny is going off on Ted for even speaking to Nicole and scolds him for throwing his illegitimate daughter in her face. Mind you, Eva is sitting there the whole time. So Ted said he didn't know Nicole would be there because Anita and Danny said she was too devastated to get off the couch. Why does that matter? Why does that matter? This is a place her and her family frequent. I didn't like that. I'm ready to get the new Ted. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. I'm with some of y'all in the comments. I'm ready to get the new Ted because I don't like this. This Ted is a butthole. Okay. Danny points out, okay, so now you're making it her fault for having a life that doesn't include you. So Ted claps back and tells her, well, you can blame yourself because y'all told me to man up. So that's what I'm doing. I'm here with my daughter, manning up. I said, oh, Ted. Look, I'm back to who are you? Was like, I'm starting to think the sweet Ted was an act. And that's not really who he was. Oh, I don't like this Ted. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I do not want Nicole to get back with him. After I'm seeing this side of him, I do not want Nicole to get back with him at all. Carlton, Carlton, where are you, Carlton? Someone find Carlton. Okay. Then Danny laughs at Ted and tells him, "Oh, look. Oh, so you took your daughter to breakfast? Please understand that you are not winning any Father of the Year awards." Um, and said, especially after bringing her to the same country club that you and your wife frequented. And I was like, well. So Danny reminds Eva, oh, and by the way, what me and my mama said to you last night was true. You don't mean to us, and you never will. Straight like that. Okay. And so Danny comes to the table disgusted that Ted is even there. And Nicole has to remind her that, look, he's a paying member as well. And I said, Nicole, stop being so damn rational all the time. Live in your anger. That's part of your problem. You too busy trying to be composed and live in your be anger. Like you said, it's stages of grief. Throw some shit, burns. Go through your waiting to exhale stage. Okay. That's what I want to see. Okay. I'm sorry. So then Anastasia comes over to let Nicole know that she heard everything that happened at the party, although she was not invited. She tells her that, her heart bleeds for her and says that, their divorced girlies need to stick together. So then she tells Danny and Nicole that, between the both of y'all really know how to pick them. And so at this point, Nicole's like, you know what? I'm ready to go. This is why I ain't want to come out the house, because you see what's happening? This is why I ain't want to be out here. Because these ain't got no sense, and I'm gonna lose my shit. All right. And I would have liked to see her do that. All right. However, Danny and Vanessa refused to let her do so. So Ted is telling Eva that he wishes Anita and Danny hadn't ambushed her like they did. And Eva is like, I just wish they would leave me alone. And so then Anastasia, or whatever the girl name is, comes over and she introduces herself to Eva and congratulates her on promotion from assistant to secret daughter or whatever. She said it's like a Cinderella story, but clearly you won't be no belle of the ball because your fairy godmother got you dressed like a church lady. I said, Anastasia, you're part of the 4-H club, but I like you. I like you. Okay. In this moment, let's just say that in this moment. Okay. And so Eva gets up and of course she's upset and I don't belong here. Y'all see my tiny violin? Can y'all see it with my nails? It looks a little better. It's because that's what it's giving. So then we see Eva. She run over to Orphe Jeans and she finds Leslie sitting by herself because she's been ostracized as well. And now Eva tells her, "You know what? You were right. I don't belong with the Duprees, and she doesn't know how to dress. She don't know how to act." And she's like, "I just want the days back of That's why I said, "Gotta find my way back, way back." That's what and Ted. I felt like it fit. But anyway, so she just wants to go back to things, get things back to how they were when it was just her and Leslie against the world. And Leslie tells her, I miss that too. And Eva tells her, I just wanted to make you happy, but not hurt my daddy. And then this sends five guys off the deep end. This is when we start dealing. I don't know if she Leslie in this moment, if she Dana, if she doesn't flip to Sherry, but this is when she really taps in, okay? And she said, why would you care about hurting your father when I raised you? So now at this point, all the Alfred Jeans, Vernon, Martin, Jan, everybody, creepy white man in the corner. Everybody is at attention. Patrons, everybody looking at what the hell is going on. Okay. And so Leslie tells her that, Ted abandoned you. And Eva was like, can you please stop saying that because Ted didn't know about me? And so he wanted to get rid of you. And she's upset that Eva took his side over hers after he destroyed her life. And so Eva tells her, I realized that you were trying to tell me things. And Eva should have said respectfully. I realized, but she didn't say that. See, how to respectfully flows, eases the blow. But anyway, um, she said, look, I realized at the end of the day, you was, telling me stuff to manipulate me. Leslie tells her to stop using that word and says she expected her daughter to protect her. Eva claims that, look, I made a choice in the heat of the moment, but that doesn't mean that I don't love you. And she's like, can I please come home, mama? Leslie said, hell no, you can't come home. So Jan is really ear hustling at this point, and she tells her, go live with the parent that you chose. And said, don't give me another thought. So Leslie walks away from her, and Martin comes over to console her and is like, look, that was harsh as hell. He tells her, look, every child deserves forgiveness and unconditional love from their parents. And so Eva gets emotional about how nice it must have been to grow up with Ted and Nicole. And Martin says that although she might not have had that, she still deserves better than the woman that she was raised by. I said, okay, I'm going to give it to Martin on this one for coming through for her. Because if there was ever a moment I felt bad for her, I did like that Martin stepped up as her half brother and just went to, have a few words with her. So he tells her he's sorry that she had to go through that. And Eva leaves in tears. Then Vernon comes over and tells Five Guys that he will never forget what she's done to his family and tells her that he pities her. And then says that in time she'll realize rejecting the only person that loves her is a big mistake. But by then it'll be too late. And I said, out here, go ahead and prophesize for us, Vernon. Let us know. So then we see Anastasia. She come over to Ted. I told y'all she was part of the 4-H club. She come over to Ted and said, oh, I'm so sorry if I ran Eva off with my comments. She said, me and my big mouth. yeah. And said, but would you like to make it bigger? I said, you nasty bitch. Talk about being forward. And so Vanessa notices that Eva ran off as well. And so Nicole is like, look, I want to thank both of you ladies for your support. And she brings up, then here we go, y'all. Then Nicole shares with them that Andre told her that Ted had let him know about the affair weeks ago. And you could see it all over Danny's face that she's bothered. She didn't let Nicole see it, but she's bothered. You're welcome. I said it weeks ago. Go back in the playlist. I said this. For those that have been here, I know y'all gonna give me my things, but I said it. Okay. And I really feel like we're gonna see it play out. So Nicole tells him that she is feeling better, and then Ted walks over and he lets her know that, I got something to say. So he tells her that there's no excuse for what he did and he can't take it back. But what he said he can't control the past, but he can control the future. And tells her that he's putting her on notice that she will see him at the country club, at the hospital, and with their children. And he plans to right his wrongs and promises by next year that they'll be celebrating their anniversary happy and in love. I said, I think, Ted, I don't know about that fishing line. I think it broke. I think that broke. That fish done swam off with the bait. I think you lost that one. But I don't know. I guess we'll see, right? So now Doug tells Joey that he refuses to ask his wife for help. And Joey asks, well, are you sure? Because, my interactions with Vanessa, she seems real understanding. This is what I'm talking about. And so Doug asks him to wait until, can you please wait till I can go back to doing surgeries? And Joey says, it's time to pay, brother. Okay. So he threatens that if he opens his mouth, that he is going to pay. And so Joey tells him about the idea to launder money through Vanessa's real estate firm and tells him that once the agreement is set up, his debt will be cleared. And Doug refuses to go behind Vanessa's back to do, help Joey do his dirty work. And so Joey says that, well, all right, I'm calling in your debt and you're not allowed to play here until you pay me back everything you owe. And so Doug was like, well, how am I supposed to get the money if I can't gamble or perform surgeries? And Joey said, I don't give a damn how you doing. I need my money. He said, I'm JG Wentworth. I want my money and I want it now. All right. And so he tells him he got 1 week to pay him back. And he said, and I really don't want to have to come looking for you. Okay. Now, Nicole is having a little kiki with Vanessa and Danny about the fact that Ted thinks that they're just going to be able to go back to normal a year from now. And Danny says she thinks that he should be groveling, which all of my girls in the comments, Ted is not groveling enough for me. Okay. And I don't know what this is about, but get it together. And she said it even sounds like he's gloating. So Vanessa's, being Miss Optimistic, because we know she's a hopeless romantic, and said, "Well, no, it could work out." And Nicole said, "But maybe I won't want Ted. Maybe I'll be on Carlton." She didn't say that. I'm just adding it, okay? And she says that confronting her fears and getting out has made her realize that she's stronger than she thinks she is. Now over at All Free Jeans, Jan comes over to Leslie and tells her that she overheard the conversation with Eva. And she just thinks it's disgusting that she would talk to her daughter like that and, leave her basically with nothing. And Leslie tells her, stop bitching and save it for Mona and their next gossip session. Then she goes off on everybody in All Free Jeans and says, you know what? Don't worry. I got more up my sleeve. I said, oh God. And then Martin and Vernon leave when the creepy YT man follows behind them. And Eva comes back and tells Ted that Leslie wants nothing to do with her. Okay, so Eva goes back to the country club and she tells Ted that Leslie wants nothing to do with her. And she's just hopeful that he's willing to accept her. And then he holds out his hand and, they have a hand holding moment. And then, of course, Nicole, Danny, and Vanessa all walk out and witness this. And yeah, that was this episode of Beyond the Gates. So yeah, y'all, I appreciate you for being here. If you guys have not already, please make sure you hit the like button. Make sure that you guys comment. Make sure that you subscribe and make sure you hit the notification bell. Make sure you're following us on all the platforms. As you can see below, it's at Shade in the City. But make sure you're following us on the Blue Sky because I do be live skying. For those that follow, shout out to Kira. I know you be up there. I be trying to think it just came to mind. So don't feel no way if I don't name you. It's literally, it just came to mind because literally I was just responding to Kira in the on Blue Sky. But Blue Sky, IG, TikTok, and the Facebook. Yeah, y'all. Appreciate the love and support. Thank you so much. And I will catch you tomorrow for Wednesday's episode of Beyond the Gates. And like I said, do not forget about our members only live Thursday night. I am gonna set it for 9 p.m. And y'all, we gonna have a good little kiki and we're gonna tussle. I'm in a good, healthy way. But we're going, or we may just all agree on our theories. But I can't wait to do it. So, all right, y'all. Y'all have a good night and a happy hump day. Bye bye.